No live. This dude just now we're live. No intro. Just immediately cut it on. What are we doing? This is how we're kicking off the show today. What are we doing? Your intro to the episode didn't count. Nothing. Nothing.
Dunbar's
5
podcast.
years. 5 years we've been potting. And we still can't work out the technical difficulties on when to start the damn show.
I was wondering, I'm like, why is there no countdown, no chat or anything like that? I'm looking in the corner, I was like, man, fuck my life.
This guy's unbelievable.
I'm
Well, there goes any YouTube
know.
I can do.
Oh,
right away. 30 seconds in.
Oh no, I knew you would know because once you start seeing the numbers count down,
Nobody would notice we'd go.
There's no hiding that. That is my bad. That's on everything. I'm sorry. Again, welcome to 243 Dunbar's podcast. What's up? I fucked up.
This show stinks. Absolutely stinks. Unbelievable.
One day.
One day. Hey DJ, what you do in your personal life is fine. You know, whatever getting breaks doesn't mean, cool. Like we got you, we support you. Don't worry. You know, so what happens when you go all gas, no brakes? You need to get them replaced. Nah, we're here, we're at it. Had the Rugrats shirt on for our birthday party this afternoon. So I'm already there because the theme's Rugrats, you know, nostalgic feels. But I will say, from a chubby fat kid, you know, the T is a legit regular 2X. I went from a big 3X to a legit 2X. So the pounds are coming off. You know, it's not exactly where I wanted to be for summer season, but we're getting there, working. So, you know, the goal is still the goal. It's still out there, ready to go. But
we all shirtless about 2025 summer.
2026.
We all 2026.
Yeah, look, this guy don't even know what year it is. We can't start the show right. Jason's thinking it's 2024.
No, I'm giving that's 2025. Get your shit together.
It's summer 2025 right now.
Well, by the end. We having a shirtless pod.
This guy was talking about. Oh man, this guy. He's on one today. He's on one today. Titties no ditties. Pause. He is on one today because he's been out of control right now. So, yeah, we got the Oreo cookie edition for you guys. You know, even though Jay's the yellow Oreo, with the cream in the middle. Pause.
Love TD's those cookies.
Oh, shenanigans!
It is. Dag.
We are at it.
Boy. I bet at a pizza, something was in there.
More than blueberry.
Yeah, pro wrestling, man. Let's get it back on track. Come on now, Captain. Oh, Captain, you guys steer the ship right.
All right, so there's no. I had an intro topic, but the two intro topics that we had are part of people's Mount Rushmores. So we're just going to jump into Mount Rushmores because they're going to be long discussions as it is. So I will start off with Chris's. Since he's not here, he's on assignment. Yep, because we completely missed that during the intro. But his Mount Rushmore is Ron Killings. He said he enjoyed the surprise return and even the fallout he did on Raw and busted open this week. He has really proven why he deserved the roster spot, but let's see how long this lasts.
I'm taking it. He didn't watch SmackDown last night, and he sent that review over prior to SmackDown even airing. So you can add in Truth or Ron Killings' appearance last night on SmackDown. The layout, the back, just continuing the. I don't want to say unhinged nature, but I loved everything about it. I loved the surprise return. I loved Monday night, the promo on the table, the significance of him cutting his hair. I love him crashing out on Busted Open, calling Dave LaGreca out. You know, you don't know me. You can't speak for me. You don't know why I cut my hair. Like, it was a 4-minute crash out that was tremendous. And then last night, everything he did, keeping the ops, it's on site. So
yes,
loved everything about it. The only thing that I wish would have gone away, because truth is clearly, and I just did it myself, Ron Killings is clearly severed ties with R-Truth.
yes. I
I would have wished last night when he came out, Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore should never have mentioned R-Truth.
Yep.
It should have just been Ron Killings.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they sprinkled it in, but your commentators, if Monday was the delineation point, hey, R-Truth's in the past, Ron Killings is here now. I'm driving. Put some respect on my name. Everything going forward, it should only be Ron Killings being referenced.
Yes.
So that was the only, and that's a minute detail to pick on. But other than that, hands down, had it on my Mount Rushmore list as well. No complaints about what they've done with Ron Killings to this point.
I can see why they did the truth, like just say truth name with Killings, just for the people who haven't watched, or just link the wrestler with the name.
See, when he says I'm driving now, I was hoping to get like a split personality type thing, so you still get the elements of truth and Killings. Because I
don't think he wants that anymore. Like, I think he,
like, everybody wanted him because he's the entertainment.
Yeah, but I think in Ron's eyes,
he's more than that.
He is. Yeah, I gave you that for 20 years, and it got me cut.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm doing what I want to do, and in the last little bit of time that I have. Whether it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, a 6-month deal, even a 3-month deal, whatever the deal is and was, this is what I want. If John Cena can go out after a 25-year run and have his retirement tour on his terms and creatively do what he wants to do, I should have the same respect and same want to go out the way that I see fit. And you guys forced my hand in doing this because you released me or not renewed my contract. So I'm not picking up the phone for you. He didn't answer their calls all week until Nick Khan picked up the phone and called him. And he negotiated in his deal per all the reporting and innuendo. Hey, I'm coming back, but I'm coming back as Ron Killings. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it right now. I'm coming back. This is how I want to be presented. This is what I want to do. And it also sets him up for whenever this run is over, if he chooses to go elsewhere, the character or the moniker of Ron Killings, you know what you're getting, bringing him in the door. It's not a surprise somewhere else where you have to reestablish him as Ron Killings. Mm-hmm. You've already seen what Ron Killings is in WWE prior to him leaving whenever this last contract is up.
Mm-hmm. I saw somebody rolling around was like, K Quick is coming back next week.
Him and Road Dogg.
And I mean, look, if you go, Donald, you or the split Jay that you talked about, and I didn't think about this until you just mentioned it. And then Donald, you mentioned K Quick, but Split, if you've seen those movies,
yes,
that could be something that Truth could lean into and do. Mm-hmm. You have K Quick, you have R-Truth, and you got Ron Killings. You got 3 personalities that you can roll with, a la 3 Faces of Foley, but in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it, but I think where they're at right now and what Ron Killings has in mind for what he wants to do, let's just drop all Truth, moniker, and namesake off the list, because there's nothing about R-Truth in Ron Killings.
No.
So the Truth shall set him free. He's freed. He's now Ron Killings going forward, I only want to hear the name Ron Killings.
Yeah. Just get that out your warehouse right now. This week, like I said, just to link the name to the wrestler, and then that's it.
Are you upset that they are doing a match next week with him and Cena?
I am, because they could build the story out longer. Like, this could be Cena's summer story, to be truthful.
No, because I don't think he's not taking belt off of Cena. So
Should he take the belt off Cena?
No.
You don't think this is we can have Mankind win the WWF Championship type moment? You have lightning in a bottle here. This is Kofi Mania. This is not something that you see every single day in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, if you're doing that, you got to let Ron play out more. Now, if it was truth, it'd get the pop.
So his
you got to let the Ron story play out more.
Cena's on limited dates.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the teens. So I'm not saying you're wasting a date by Cena facing Ron Killings, because it's definitely needed.
It's playing into the story.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
especially what they did yesterday.
I just don't know how much of that is them having to adjust creative, because R-Truth Backlash was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think Punk was always the vision for Night of Champions. But now we got this other arc.
Mm-hmm.
This other story that's sitting here. We got to do something with it, because the fan base is livid.
Mm-hmm.
How can we tie the two without taking away from Punk Cena? Because everybody wants to see Punk Cena. I didn't think they would do it this early.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be closer to the end of season.
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting it at Night of Champions.
Because the way
Champions instead.
you get that at Night of Champions. You're probably getting Cena and Cody at SummerSlam. Cody qualified yesterday. I'm thinking he will win the thing. So yeah, where are you going to fit it in? I mean, you could fit it in, but should he take the belt?
I mean, after it happens, I don't think none of these stories are over until December. Until Cena leaves, I don't think any of these stories are set in stone, done after the match.
Would you be mad if after next week's match, Ron Killings is done with WWE?
Yeah.
Like, the whole point, if Ron Killings is there and you brought him back in the whole John Cena, Ron Cena, like, once Killings gets his quote unquote lick back on John Cena, what else do you do with him? That's why I said, like, if it's a 2-month contract, a 6-month contract, whatever, but once that's done,
once
and
that's
Cena's not around for Ron Killings, what is there for him to do? And I don't know if that would cause more backlash, or if that would be we decided not to renew. You guys bitched up a storm. We realized the error in our ways. We brought him back. This was a negotiated contract. Ron Killings said, I'll come back, but I'm only coming back for a month. And then I'm gone. Now,
if it was on his terms. If he left on his terms. I think
so if he does leave after 3 weeks of coming back, are you going to be okay with that? Because that's what he wanted?
If it's on his terms. We released you because you're old in the tooth. Like, he deserves more respect than that.
But you still want more of that character, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard. It's just hard to see where he goes, especially because he's not the mystery and the mystery guy for the King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would have been an easy creative decision. You got Ron Killings added in as a surprise to the King of the Ring tournament, and he goes on to win the King of the Ring and faces Cena at SummerSlam. Then you can wrap it up and be done, tied in a bow, and Ron Killings is out the door.
Mm-hmm.
See you bye. Look for me in my next adventure. But you bring him back 2 weeks, essentially. He attacks Cena, gets a match next week, and then what? What do you do after that? There's short-sighted booking hurt long-term gains.
Do you have any other heels on the roster? main event heels on the roster other than Cena? Because I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know where else he goes.
You have Drew, but I don't know what they have no history together, and I don't want to see him turn on Cody and Punk.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be
that's
interesting.
tough. Yeah, that's very tough.
But when you step back and you look at it from a booking perspective, if you're already running a match next week, what are you doing after that?
But I feel like he can be the reason Cena loses. I'll Cody Roman.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It will be.
But Ron Killings definitely deserves this spotlight.
Yes, he does.
So for that, I agree with Chris as far as the Mount Rushmore goes.
Mm-hmm. If that is probably one of the hottest stories right now in all of wrestling. All right, so let's go to my Mount Rushmore, and it's the other big thing that happened this week. For me, Jey Uso losing was amazing. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of his anyway, so I never wanted to see him with the title.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever he lost, I was actually shocked. And if you see what Rikishi said, Rikishi was pissed off, beyond pissed off. 51 days.
He's on my mush, but yeah.
51 days.
51 days. But now, since Gunther is champion and they're talking about rumors of him and Goldberg and all that stuff, it's like a double-edged sword. It was I was for Jey losing, but I'm not for Jey losing just for Goldberg to come back. It was like...
My only gripe was that it came out of nowhere. There was no build. You just announced a match, and that was it. Mm-hmm. You could have built to a rematch.
Wait, for Jey and Gunther?
Yeah.
They did build it. They built it for 2 weeks. 2-3 weeks. They made the announcement, and Gunther kept telling Jey, hey, not doing that, Taquan. But they did build it. Gunther told Jey, look, man, you're not focused on me. You're in everybody else's business as champ. You're running yourself ragged. You're hopping in this story, this fight, that fight. And I'm the guy that you got to worry about facing. I'm the ring general. And he wore himself in. He got beat up on Saturday night's main event and can't go in against Gunther, not at 100%. Now, was it the best build to a rematch? No, but there's other companies that have done rematches this week that weren't necessary either. They wasted a rematch to set up a tag team match. So what's better? Do you waste the rematch to set up a retirement match, or you waste the rematch to set up a tag team match?
I don't mind a retirement match because Goldberg's not winning, so good.
But did it need the title? Did the retirement match need the title?
It didn't, but it was a way to get the title off Jey. I mean,
this is the first time where I look at the decisions made and I go, oh, counter programming for counter programming.
Mm-hmm.
They purposely made a title change to put the belt on Gunther, to bring Goldberg back, to run Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, to take eyes away from AEW. But that's not going to matter because All In's at 3 p.m.
So you're not going toe for toe with it.
Unless they're running a 9-hour show. If that show starts at 3 and it's still on at 8 p.m. when Saturday night's main event kicks off, there's problems. So you're not taking anything away.
Jay's title
again, what's the point?
Jay's title run was up. It was he had it far too long. He could have been a one-night champ.
Here in the day, man, he fell into the babyface trap.
Yeah, you know, put him on the fan favorite.
Yep.
Get it out there.
Yep. The build to him getting the title was great. And once he got the title, people got sick of it.
I don't know who got sick of it. People online maybe, but not in the stands, not in the crowds.
No, because it was featured on TV. That's why.
Rikishi saying every time we get something, they take it away like you just had a bloodline for 3 years.
Well, that was in regards to them wanting Roman to take a pay cut. Talk about the man that literally carried you to a Netflix $5 billion deal over 5 years, and now you want him to take a pay cut?
The TJ Watt effect.
So, but all right, Jay losing your Mount Rushmore. That's your Mount Rushmore, Donald. I'm not gonna, it is what it is. It's just very interesting, and I think what makes it even worse is that you announced Jay for the King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah.
So it's, hey, as a consolation prize for you doing the deed and dropping the belt, we're going to put you in the King of the Ring tournament.
Which you might end up in the finals with him and Cody, friend versus friend.
They're on the same side of the bracket. It'd be him versus Cody. If he makes it to the finals, it'd be him versus probably Sami Zayn.
So they got him and Cody in Final Four. Semifinals.
I like that the big names are in it, but I hate that the big names are in it.
We'll touch on King of the Ring in my mush.
All right.
My Mount Rushmore, I'm going to give it to the title matches on NXT with JC versus Laney and Jasper Troy versus Obafemi. Those are two fresh new talents that look real good in the ring. Real good.
I don't know what Jasper Troy looks like outside of a meat-on-meat match.
Mm-hmm.
But any one of those meat-on-meat matches, absolutely sign me up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They planted seeds of doubt by him going into the most dangerous place in the United States of America, the NXT parking lot, and taking out Oba before the show.
Yeah.
And they continued that doubt throughout the show. Oba's still in the trainer's room. Can Oba compete? Is he going to show up? And then Oba comes out with tape ribs.
Mm-hmm.
And they went back and forth. And absolutely tore the house down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. JC's, the match itself was fine. Mm-hmm. But the setup to the match, if you're going to slap somebody and you got a camera on you, you actually got to slap them. You can't hit him in the shoulder twice and have it play off as a slap. Or change the camera angle because those weren't slaps.
Yeah.
So I think the bigger story is the whole JC constantly putting Fallon Henley down and Fallon in the background not really vibing with JC.
Seeds of the breakup.
So
my only gripe was they wore the same colors, looking like a tag team in there.
They've been doing that a lot lately. Yeah, a lot of the same gear.
Gotta pay attention to that.
But yeah, no, that Oba and Jasper was on my short list just by themselves for Mount Rushmore this week.
Steve, your Mount Rushmore?
Chad Gable. To wrestle 3 matches in the span of 48 hours and put out the performances that he did Him and Vikingo alone could have been match of the weekend.
Yeah.
That was tremendous. Absolutely loved everything about that match. For those of the fans that weren't familiar with Vikingo before that match, now you know. Okay, like he's a star. Then for him to go into Money in the Bank, allegedly, you know, and show up and show out in that match
Did he
to
really get hurt?
wrestle again on Monday night against AJ Styles. Like performance well done. Absolutely crushed it this week. And Gable is Gable. And I know he got over with the El Grande Americano thing, but this is what Chad Gable could have been doing for years.
Mm.
I've said it 4.5 years ago on this podcast when he was Shorty G and me and Chris were doing a draft review. That's Kurt Angle 2.0.
Yeah.
And he's literally showing you he's Kurt Angle 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
He got the silly, he got the gimmick, like he can do everything. But he's a machine in the ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he should be presented in that light all the time. So I'm just happy Gable's getting his just due now, and people are starting to see the talent for what he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Any talk about the Money in the Bank winners? Anybody got any points as far as right calls, wrong calls? Are you excited to see what goes down, what happens?
Like I said last week, I'm not crazy about Naomi as a wrestler or whatever, but her winning and her doing her stuff yesterday on SmackDown, I enjoyed it. I did. Yeah. I like heels with the briefcase, and she's really only been week 1 already, but she's already putting Tiffany on notice and all that stuff, and try to slip in before Nia stopped her. So I'm good with that.
I'm up in the air about Seth because Seth didn't need it, but it gives him a reason to terrorize both rosters.
The group needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Seth's just the carrier of it, but like if your whole vision, and I heard that allegedly they're getting a name soon, and I heard the vision being floated out there as part of the stable name.
I wonder what the mouse got to say about that.
But for the vision of what Seth is trying to do, he was absolutely the right call to put the briefcase on. Because him getting that world title and having the power and taking it away, I thought Cena did a good job of tying Seth in last night. As to why he won't cash in on Cena, but what Seth is trying to do with having the briefcase, it absolutely fits in that regards.
And I feel like Seth is one of the ones that can carry that title.
Oh, for sure.
Him and I see McIntyre is another one that can carry that title. Only a select few. I feel like that's the top of the top titles. You can throw that Jey Uso title on anybody else.
I thought about Jay getting the final spot in King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody got anything else positive to say so we can get onto these mushes, because this is where shit's going to go off the rails. So, if you're ready for story time or soapbox time or whatever the case may be, it's going to come.
Gather around the campfire. I want to tell you a story.
Yeah. My mush of the week this week, it was very hotly contested. But I'm going to WWE and this whole announcement of this King of the Ring tournament.
Okay.
From the announcement to making every single match a 4-way match, after you just did a 3-way to get into Money in the Bank, it's just lazy, no thought out booking as far as, oh, hey, throw a bunch of names together and let's go have matches to fill out 5.5 hours of TV.
Right.
I thought it was just poorly done. I don't care that big names are in it. The setup makes no sense, especially because it's a prize. It leads to a title fight, a title match for your winners. And then on top of that, the Jey Uso announcement is the fourth man. You have Karrion Kross sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most over man on your roster since WrestleMania. And you have a natural tie-in to being on the opposite side of the bracket from Sami Zayn.
True.
You want to talk about making Karrion Kross? That's the whole reason for the King of the Ring tournament. He wins a 4-way match. He beats Cody. He wrestles Sami in the finals. Does he have to win it? No, but
Relevant.
I mean, yeah.
It ties everything in with his story.
With his story.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, I hate this whole setup for this King of the Ring tournament. It's mushing too many things together.
Mm-hmm.
You just came out of Money in the Bank where a person gets a briefcase that can cash in at any time. You immediately go into a King of the Ring tournament for the winner to get a title match at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not setting up any booking or build to SummerSlam because you're winners of this tournament that takes place at Night of Champions in 2 weeks is going to be already set in stone. So what are you going to do from Night of Champions to SummerSlam? You already have your matches announced.
Mm-hmm.
What's your build for that? How you get me invested in those matches? It's the same problem AEW has.
I was about to say, sounds like a promotion we know.
But they fight their respective champions if they win, right?
King of the Ring brackets tournament, my mush of the week.
Do they fight their respective champions if they win? So I
don't think they can call out.
Okay, so it's just if Cody wins, he's going for the SmackDown.
For Cena, and if Sami wins,
Raw,
he'll go to Raw.
The world title.
So now you're still in limbo with not having anybody for the other champion because you're waiting for these tournaments to end. Yeah.
Or Jay wins it and you get Gunther J3 at SummerSlam.
Which we don't need.
TKO sounds like money. Jason? Mush?
What was it? Mush? 1B, Vince Russo for shitting on Roxanne, saying he doesn't know who she is, comparing her to Blair Davenport and Kiana James. Get out of here with that. My main mush was there was a run on NXT or on Raw where it was like after a match, it went from a Worlds Collab promo to Becky Lynch backstage, a City shout out, Raw facts, Jay's backstage, Gunther backstage, the Netflix in the audience type deal they do. You had Brie Bella package, Brie Bella backstage. You had Nikki. Why do I keep calling her Brie? Yeah, just wins. Okay. You had Becky's segment. You had Truth coming after that segment. You had Judgment Day backstage. You had Penta's entrance. You had Mr. Iguana promo. And then you had Rollins faction backstage. This was all in between the match. And I was just sitting there fast forwarding like, when is the next wrestling match? And it was just like too much for me. I was like, this is overload for a Raw. It feels like SmackDown is becoming a wrestling show. And Raw is just like, let's promote everything. 2 matches, million promos, and let's promote everything.
Man, you wrote all that down too.
Yeah, I wrote all that down because it was long.
Well, that's what happens when your $5 billion deal comes through. You gotta
shout out to
advertise the advertiser.
I see. Oh, you can slide that Netflix in there. We didn't need every single damn package. Cut the Jay and Gunther before the match. All this build is just too much. Maybe I was just pissed that the Becky promo was just terrible altogether. Segment and just made it seem even longer.
You got Bayley coming back in all white. That should have been Mount Rushmore of the week right there.
The only highlight of that gap, of that span of time.
You see somebody had the slow-mo video on her.
But it's like if I don't know what plays on in the ring, but if you're in the stands waiting for that, that's just too fucking much.
Well, I'll let you know whenever I go to Raw and SmackDown in a couple of weeks here. So I will definitely come back with reports there of what it's like in the arena because, yeah, I mean, from a TV viewership perspective,
That's long.
That's 45 minutes of no match time. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
It's just dead
On a
air.
3-hour card. What are we doing?
Basically dead air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, not where I was expecting you to go from a mush of the week aspect, but you always throw curveballs when it comes to your mushes and pick out things that I don't necessarily pay attention to. I thought you were gonna go with the IWC again for their turn on the Street Profits, Cody and Tiffany Stratton. Calling them out for allegedly being at a Trump rally.
Oh, I didn't see that.
When it was to celebrate
250 years or whatever.
But it was to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday. The president just happened to be appearing later on that evening. Immediately that I'm done with Cody. I'm done with Tiffany. The Street Problem. I'm done. How could you? It's like he's not paying attention.
Everybody jump before anything. Can't do anything. All right.
Give Chris's because Donald, I think yours is going to lead to more soapbox conversations.
It basically is. So I'll do both of them at the same time because they're both AEW. So let's just get ready. So my mush is the Young Bucks in their thumbtack shoes. How many times are we going to see this? I mean, it is their thing, but I'm getting tired of it. And this gimmick is
callback. It's a callback to Swerve hitting them with a thumbtack shoe.
But this gimmick is worse than Lord Tensai's gimmick altogether. I'm so over it.
I brought it up earlier, but you wasted Ospreay Swerve 2.
Yes.
It was a good match. Really good match.
To build to the Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve it all in. Why? You still have no idea why the Young Bucks and the Death Riders are in cahoots. Moxley's just standing outside the ring looking like Triple H with a shaved head and a beard. And he's just watching. But we have no idea what for. They still have not given anything as far as the reasoning why they're even paired up with the Death Riders. Let's just run back the Anarchy in the Arena match next week in a 10-man tag and just switch out 2 of the competitors for the Arena Mexico show, which also has a 12-man tag.
12-man. Yeah, I was about to say they have a 12-man tag coming.
So you have 22 people in 2 tag matches next week. Not to mention a $4 million peso match, which is just a run back of the $100,000 four-way match that Sammy Guevara won a couple of weeks ago. So now you're giving away 4 million pesos, do the math on the conversion, whatever that equals out to. So the winner of that 4-man match. What are we doing?
And then I will get into Chris's mush. His mush is, let me pull it up, the AEW Unified Championship. I could make the case for this being a positive, but not a negative for the only reason of AEW getting rid of a championship. But calling it a Unified Championship makes no goddamn sense. How do you call it unified when there's still an AEW World Championship out there? If you want to have an Intercontinental Championship, just call it that. Not as much BS working around that. Makes as much sense as WWE having an undisputed champ when there's 2 world titles out there.
I like the belt. I hate that Unified is on the belt.
I do like the belt because it gets rid of one of the belts.
Yeah.
I don't like the design of the belt because the belt looks like the former women's championship. But yeah, that Unified is.
You could have just renamed it.
Yeah, just rename all together.
Why is Don Callis involved in this storyline? Why
Why
does Don Callis get involved in every single Kenny Omega storyline there is?
That was a mush itself there.
You're tied at the hip for forever.
It was like you never saw this coming. Or like I thought Okada was with the Young Bucks, not Don Callis.
Right. Now he's a part of the Callis family.
Yeah.
Because he's matched up with them in a tag match this week, too. And the whole just over the top spitting up blood.
The blood.
Just for that follow up to be, guess who's stepping up to fight Okada? Kenny Omega's longtime friend, Mark Briscoe. I didn't know they were best friends. I didn't know they've been friends for decades.
They go back to those days in Ring of Honor.
What are we doing?
Inserted a new wrinkle into the storyline. It's his long lost cousin.
I mean, Mercedes and Tony came out to eat more steak, and then Mercedes smelled her hair. So that feud is just off to a just tremendous successful run there. From eating steak to smelling shampoo. That could be a Tresemme commercial.
Well, the most random brand.
It was just sitting there, just watching AEW this week. Was like, what am I doing?
4 hours long.
Like, what am I doing?
4 hours long, and you had 560,000 people. And oh, by the way, Wednesday show's 2.5 hours long.
What's the extra half for? Fuck.
The MJF Mystico was trash.
I told Jason that's a Chad Gable story all over again. That's all what that is. I want your mask. I'm fighting a luchador. The same exact story.
Your thoughts on Wardlow and Camille being American Gladiators?
Did you see how they're apparently WWE's raising issues because the Miz is hosting the show, but AEW contractual talent are gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
And why are all the gladiators former wrestlers at this point? Rick Boogs, Wardlow, Camille. Do we have any other athletes that can play gladiators?
The way that you just said former. You just
might as well be former.
Might as well be former.
They haven't been on TV
Camille and
forever.
Wardlow haven't wrestled in how long?
They've been on TV forever.
Talk about two people that were at the height of their prime.
When's the last time you saw Camille going through a drywall?
Yeah.
Fake drywall.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, like, hey, WWE, get over yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
If they are really raising issues and a stink about them being gladiators, it's on Amazon Prime. You have no say. You have nothing on Prime.
It doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with wrestling. It's something completely different off the books.
You don't complain that I get AEW program or commercials during USA. I get gladiator.
I mean, I'm just, I don't know. I'm just waiting for PCO to.
Gladiator. Thunderball with PCO.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, like, I get it. They're athletic individuals who have TV experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, we got nobody else you could pull from.
I could see a Rick Boogs, Wardlow and Camille. That's just feels like a fall from grace.
You got to do something to put your name out there. Because your employer ain't letting you do it. So
watch me throw this guy off the aggro crack.
The aggro crack. That's guts. The Eliminator.
It's just
Breakthrough and Conquer. We got Gladiator, Abyss, Glenn Jacobs.
And Camille's the only woman announced so far.
I wonder if they'll change their name.
Oh, there's definitely going to have different names.
Give them the old Blaze.
Thunder.
Your Blaze, Thunder. Ice.
Malibu. Hawkeye.
What is it? Nitro. Nitro and Gemini.
Virgo, Capricorn. Libra.
All right. So those were our Mount Rushmore and Bushes. Please contact the show and tell us your Bushes and Mount Rushmores for the week. Let's get into this quick game. So I gave this to Chris before everything exploded on Monday and all that stuff with Goldberg and everything. So it's a little what if. What if Goldberg was a complete bust in the WCW?
I saw somebody put.
Say it again.
I saw somebody put out there that if you watch Goldberg's retirement match over Hangman winning the AEW World Championship, you should not be watching wrestling anymore. And to that, I say, suck it. 1, 2, kick rocks and flip flops. 3, they're not going head to head with each other. And who are you to tell somebody what they should and shouldn't watch? Do I need a retirement match from Goldberg in 2025? Absolutely not.
No.
But from somebody that was there in the teenage years during the prime of Goldberg and what that was, yeah, I want to, tune in for nostalgia's sake to see one of the biggest names in wrestling during the hottest era of wrestling, arguably ever, go into the sunset. But if Goldberg was a bust, I don't think WCW wins for 83 straight weeks. If Goldberg's a bust, they definitely don't give away Hogan dropping the belt on a Monday Night Nitro and wasted money by not making it a pay-per-view. If Goldberg's a bust, maybe there aren't as many former football players in pro wrestling.
That's probably the biggest one there. They would say, they would say you can't cut it.
Yeah.
For me, if Goldberg was a bust, I think WCW would have closed up earlier shop. Because by that time, a lot of people, like when he first came out, a lot of people were already starting to get it over the Hollywood Hogan gimmick.
Yeah, I agree there.
There would have been, if Goldberg wasn't there would have been more brother, and more patting on the back of the NWO. The NWO was already spent by that point. For me, it was spent. And it would have closed up shop earlier than it was. It would have.
If Goldberg was a bust, we don't get Kevin Owens' title run cut short.
Dude.
If Goldberg's a bust, we don't get the loss of the streak by being struck with a cattle prod.
And even though I don't like him, if Goldberg was a bust in WCW, Bret Hart would have been wrestling longer.
That's the number one there.
Thank you, Goldberg. He'd be back in the WWE.
He's never coming back now.
Do you think these wrestlers are tarnishing their career now as like, because in their prime Goldberg was the man, But I feel like after he came back and was booked to get or booked to lose or booked to beat Kevin, booked to beat the Fiend, does that overshadow the earlier?
Yeah, the tarnish of Goldberg has absolutely worn off. Based on those booking decisions, plus him damn near killing The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like in his prime, he was the guy. I was a Goldberg fan.
He still wasn't a great wrestler. You want to talk about entrance, no in-ring ability? That's Goldberg.
And that's why his matches were like a jackknife and a spear.
You called him Ultimate Warrior.
But yeah, that's, I mean,
a match, and that's it.
Yeah, you want to talk about the ultimate gimmick? There's a lot that can change if Goldberg's not, if he was a bust. But I just still, the fact that you're giving him a title shot 2025.
Yeah.
As a retirement match.
You shouldn't be giving out retirement matches. Once you say you're done, man, get out of here.
No.
Go to
I bet the only type of retirement match you should get is something that Ric Flair put on himself.
There you go.
Like,
do it like
in the Indies, somewhere else. Not on TV.
Come back to a major promotion for a retirement match.
What I don't want to happen is Goldberg in this retirement match taking the shine off of Gunther. And what I mean by that is I don't know how much he can do. He definitely can't do a jackhammer no more. Like, what is this match going to consist of? And how does it go longer than 3 minutes?
Chops and spears.
Yeah. I don't want him to look like him and Brock.
Him and Brock was good because it was a 75-mile-an-hour car crash.
Mm-hmm.
That was over in 4 minutes.
And they both were the same person, basically.
Yeah.
German suplexes and spears. That's it. Gunther's more than that.
You're going to expect Goldberg to sell chops? Come on now.
As soon
as you give one chop,
Yeah, if he pulled that little snarling mug out after a chop, turn the shit off.
He might knock himself out headbutting the door before the match starts.
Let's hope. Bret Hart himself. Will I watch? Yeah.
Of course we'll watch. Everybody watches car crashes.
I don't know. It is what it is here.
I have nothing else. Anybody have any quick hits?
Yeah, I got some quick hitters here. Again, if it don't Gunther, just to tie in this last little bit, but his promo after Raw talk with Sam Roberts and that, this is the type of stuff that needs to be on TV. Or make reference of it whenever you're recapping stuff on Friday. But, he said, I'm not here to get along with my colleagues just to have a great match. I'm here to get rich. I'm more than prepared to get comfortable and accept reality. It's me, the ring general, Gunther, back on top again. Like, why is that not on TV?
We say it all the time. All the time.
Just like Punk being called the hypocrite. He told you he's here to make money.
Jeremy Borash was the lead person for Worlds Collide event last weekend. It was a quote unquote Borash production. I loved everything about the presentation of Worlds Collide. Matches were great. Production wise was fantastic. Watching it again, Conan and Graves, I think, can be really good together. Corey was a standout and received praise this week. He talked about it a little bit there, so that's solid. Outside of AEW, WWE aspect for a couple things. One, Richard Holiday is putting on an event, live pro wrestling event, August 3rd called Narcissistic Behavior. It's a 10-year celebration of me, so it's a celebration of him. It's tremendous. I'm a huge Richard Holiday fan. Rarefied Air, loved him in MLW. But some of the people that he had announced already for the show, Hammerstone, Deonna Purrazzo, and I'm like, oh, hey, Deonna, nice to see you out and about again. Where's that milk carton been at in AEW? You got her in the AEW, you got her in the ROH Pure Championship tournament that nobody knows about is going on.
I see her in podcasts more than I see her wrestling.
Yeah,
there you go.
So that's an indie event that I will tune in for and watch whenever that drops. In regards to that, and then the other thing, you want to feel old. I saw this week makes me feel completely old. Scott Steiner, Mark Henry, and Titus O'Neil all have sons that are signed to NIL deals with WWE.
Whew.
So
set your kids up.
Not to age myself, but
changes.
Yeah, I don't know if all three will go into pro wrestling. I do expect Steiner and Mark Henry's son. Don't know much about Titus's son, but Mark Henry's son is an absolute stud. Yeah. Like stud. Wrestler and football player at the University of Oklahoma. So Steiner's son plays football. I forget what school he's at. He's at a smaller school. But yeah, you want to talk about the next generation coming through. I know the bloodline has 75 kids that are going to be coming up here in the next couple of years. But,
Hikuleo.
Hikuleo debuted on main event. People are always debuting on SmackDown. Yeah, next week. They set it up this week. Yeah. And audience that ruined him coming out on main event ruined next week's setup. Yeah. But I love everything about Jacob and Solo right now. That was also on my short end for Mount Rushmore. Yeah. From Jacob hearing Friday night, Solo, all gas, no brains, to him costing Solo with the I hate you Solo and Money in the Bank, to last night's interaction. Solo from a character standpoint, you want to talk about one of the greatest characters right now. Solo is can't miss TV for me every single time he's on screen.
Yeah, and he gives you he goes from comedy to drama,
like that.
A little rock.
Don't let the final boss hear you say that.
But that's all I have.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to episode 243. Now that's what's up with the Dumb Marks podcast. Follow us on all of our social medias at Dumb Marks Pod. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod for all the merch, and hit us up on Spotify. Like, listen, and follow. And for the quote this week, just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right. So until then, Konnichiwa Kairi-san, and fuck you, Dave Squared. Until next week.